Good morning, my friends. It is your old pal PeaceLoveMusic with another episode of the Let's Go Good Morning Stack Show, brought to you live by DeOrganized Media in partnership with our good friends over at BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Friday, the 27th of December. Things are heading slow into the end of the year, and my goodness, what a great, fantastic year we have had in the crypto space. If you've been here, it's been a little bit up and down. Not everything went in a straight line, but we're definitely trending well ahead of where we were just a year ago. So count your blessings, my friends. And also, friendly reminder, this is a news show. We are not providing financial advice. We are only providing news and information for our community. Always do your own research. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose, and do not base your investment decisions based on my opinion. I sometimes get it wrong, and even sometimes when I do get it right, my timing might be off. So always do your own research and do not invest money you cannot afford to lose. Bitcoin coming in this morning at 96,362. It's around where it was yesterday. Stacks up a little bit on the day, up to, I just had it in front of me and now I misplaced it. Stacks is at $1.62. It's up 5 cents from yesterday, and holding on to number 54 by market cap on CoinMarketCap. It's dropping in the numbers. It's on sale right now. And Fear and Greed tipped back into neutral. It had popped up into the greed range yesterday, back down to neutral at 54. That's a comfortable place for me as far as I'm concerned. And the top three gainers over the last 24 hours on CoinMarketCap are Virtual, again, Fartcoin, not a holder of that one, and Hyperliquid. Definitely some interesting conversations going on about those tokens today. Friendly reminder, my friends, when you stack your stacks, you earn yield in Bitcoin. Tell your friends. And now we are going to have a word from our sponsor. My friends, if you don't know, there we go. If you're into Bitcoin and looking to earn some solid yield, you have to check out Hermetica. They've got USDH, a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin that not just stable, but earns up to 25% yield. You can head on over to hermetica.fi right now and stake your USDH and start earning immediately. It's that easy. Go check it out now at hermetica.fi. And, if you have a hard time remembering hermetica.fi, you can scan the QR code right there. Come back to the show. It's up there. Check it out. Scan the QR code. That'll bring you right over to Hermetica. You can start earning yield on your stable dollar coins backed by Bitcoin. Cool stuff going on in Hermetica over there. Russia says it is using Bitcoin to evade sanctions. Now, that's actually an interesting topic, because some people might say that that's actually bad for Bitcoin. But the truth is that actually plays into the narrative of having a Bitcoin strategic reserve and being able to use Bitcoin to your advantage against adversaries potentially. So this is actually a bullish thing for Bitcoin. It has more use cases than people might understand. The U.S. Congress is expected to prioritize crypto legislation in 2025. Long overdue. The KRW, that's the Korean won, USD exchange rate has hit a 15-year low, prompting South Koreans to convert KRW into BTC and USDT on Upbit, where a 3.5% premium is observed. That's interesting. Dollars rocketing against other currencies right now. Bitcoin rebound imminent. BTC buy volume rose from less than $5 billion December 1st to almost $6 billion on the 25th of December, mirroring patterns before Bitcoin's 90% rally in early 2024. MicroStrategy holds 444,262 Bitcoin, which is more than the Grayscale and Fidelity Bitcoin ETFs combined. This was a news item from yesterday, but I want to say it again. Only 6% of Bitcoin supply is left to mine. Less than 6% of Bitcoin's total supply is left to be mined ever. Talk about scarcity. You want a scarce asset? You want to hold some value? Just hyper hard. Bitcoin is hyper hard currency. Ethiopia uses its Grand Renaissance Dam to power Bitcoin mining, generating 18% of its electricity revenue and earning $1 billion last year. Bitwise files for Bitcoin Standard Corporation's ETF. Fidelity's BTC and ETH ETFs saw the most inflows of all U.S. spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs on December 26th. The FETH saw $83 million in inflows, and FBTC, Fidelity BTC, saw $254 million in inflows. That's good to see some of the other guys competing with BlackRock. We don't want them to hold too much of the supply on their own. With SBTC now live, do not miss. Whoops, I screwed that up. Sorry, everybody. With SBTC now live, don't miss the Surge 2 campaign on Alex. Rewards have been doubled to 2 million Alex for Surge liquidity providers. Some of the best yields on stacks for SBTC and meme coins will be found on the Alex Surge, so be sure to check it out at app.alexlab.co/surge. You can actually get to that web link right there at that QR code in the corner, and go check out what they're doing at Alex with SBTC. SBTC's got some really cool stuff coming down the pipe for Stacks. Staxy's 1-year anniversary celebration is today, 12/27, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on a DeOrganized live stream with a space on X afterwards at noon Eastern Time. Join us to celebrate the amazing growth and evolution of Staxy in the Welsh and throughout the broader Stacks community, and see the launch of her new limited mint NFT STXY. Join us today at 11 a.m. to get that ball rolling and mint one of Staxy's really neat limited editions. There's only 42 of them, so you guys better be ready. I think they're minting on Gamma today. It goes live around noon, and you want to have your stacks ready to mint that out. It's probably going to go quickly. Congratulations to Zenitron and the team at Skullcoin for smashing success on the launch of their on-chain play-to-earn game. Head over to skullco.in and check it out now. Also, check out what's going on at DeOrganized.media. You can now find the schedule for all your favorite DeOrganized shows and Community X spaces and info for show hosts, all in one easy-to-navigate platform. You can set up your own basic user account with a simple and secure Stacks wallet connection. And go check that out today. Not sure. Well, we'll see what's going on. That is the news. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, nobody. Good morning, Reese. FOMO Toshi in the house. What's up, man? What's up, man? Good to see you coming out and support. Love that. And I got GPSC and Jack Binswitch in the house. What is up, brothers? How are you guys today?
Tired. How about you?
Morning, guys.
I'm
good.
definitely I'm feeling the rundown into the end of the year. You know, we have and just a reminder to everybody, we are actually running no shows next week, no spaces for DeOrganized. The only thing we're doing is the New Year's Eve live stream. We're gonna go. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to start, but we're lined up to go at least until East Coast US midnight, probably West Coast. I think Maddie Case from BitcoinLive, one of the BitcoinLive group, is going to carry us to the West Coast New Year's. So we're going to have that epic show next week, but then nothing else. Otherwise, yeah, I'm tired, man. I need the break.
I have to get in on that New Year's Eve show, man. The election show was fun.
Yeah, you're definitely in. You know, and anyone that wants to, you know, well, but I'm counting on you, man.
I got a compliment on the beard from the most stylish person in the ecosystem I know.
There's no better.
Just made the day.
Nobody. If you're getting a compliment from nobody, that's something.
You got it. That's it. What's up, GPSC? How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Staying positive, keeping busy. My building my second account now. This round trip, building it again. So yesterday my account got suspended. I hosted a space. Everybody was talking in the Leo chat about different concerns they were having, and so I spun up my first space. And directly after my first space ended, my account got suspended.
What is your?
I don't know if there's something new. I saw.
What's your current handle, brother? It's K at.
I read something about. So it's too hard to remember for people. So I think I'm gonna have to just.
You might have to. You can you can edit that now.
It's yeah. Oh, you can. That's good news because it's Kevin Baker. It's my name. Not 1992. Without vowels. So KVNBKR 1992. It's a lot of info.
Yeah,
I just have out there, but I am doxxed. I guess just to another extent now. So like between a rock and a hard place. If I can change it, then I'll take a look at that later and see if I can make it more GPSC related. You know what I mean?
It's.
But for now, my handle is Gigapepe. Until I get everything else just kind of solidified.
It makes a case for people who are Nostr. You need the decentralized social media. And it does make a strong case for that, because a lot of work goes into building a social media account, and that could have just been a bug because they were messing with the algorithm. I mean, it just.
Yeah, it seems like it was too coincidental,
right?
And there really isn't. Like the kid just doesn't. He's not pushing those boundaries that I see ever noticed. So I don't think it's. I'm cautiously optimistic it might come back, but you can actually follow this link right here or right down there. Follow GP, get him back, get this account back up, and actually, at least if it can be just a backup account when he gets this one back, it's it's all gravy. But we need this guy around.
Yeah, for real. They're not.
Yeah, that's what.
Not many people do more for the culture around these parts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I'm knee deep in culture. I'm trying. So you follow.
Yeah. No, that's so true, man. Like, art and crypto just go together so wonderfully, and it feeds right into the community aspect, and you've become an institution, so worst case scenario, that account will be back up stronger than ever in no time. Just have to wait for people to get back from the holidays.
Yeah, and we got good morning, John D. I wonder if that's the D is like if the .btc stands for Rockefeller, is that John D. Rockefeller over there? What's up? Yeah, but you know what though? There was a tremendous for a slow ass time in the ecosystem right now. There was a lot of people that came out to support you yesterday, brother. Immediately, as soon as there was tragedy throughout the ecosystem. The people that are on that know you are devastated with you, man. We're all shooting for you, as far as this goes. But yeah,
I appreciate everybody, man. I've made a lot of strong connections, in the ecosystem, and these are my people, man. And I got love for all of them. I go to bat for all of them. So it's one of those things, man. It's when you work for over a year and a half on building your following and it feels good to know that people are like going to bat for me when this happens to me. So I'm super grateful for everybody that's, making those posts. Every post that you make, it matters. Like, if you can tell them like, hey, this is where they can find me at, my new handle. Getting that word out there is important. And then after the holidays, when everybody is kind of back in their own grind and back in the motions, we'll see. And then also, it might have just been a bug. It might have just been a bug. So I'm gonna wait a few days. They say wait this days, and we'll see if we can get the GPSC underscore STX handle back. But if not, I'm prepared to build again. And I hope that everybody's with me. And it sounds like you guys are. So truly thankful for that.
Yeah. Stacks says, so we need to make hashtag free GPSC trend today. If we can do that, that would probably help it. But Staxy says it's so terrifying. And I hope we can sort this out. But yes, it's terrifying because we're kind of building businesses on these accounts right now, more so than ever, really. Because so much of the communication, so much of the dialogue is happening on X right now. It's really one of the most most open platforms. It's really one of the only places you can go without getting shadow banned and restricted. But maybe that's not even the case anymore. Maybe that's being kind of rolled back and reined in. And we need more options. We need more options now. We need a decentralized capacity to do this. Crypto Dude is building out Derupt. And, he actually commented on the post I made yesterday, this won't happen on Derupt because you own your account. Your account's not owned by the platform. And that's really, Twitter's missing the boat with some of this stuff because they really they're positioned right now to be that decentralized platform that lets people own their own accounts. And I get it. You want to protect the community in the platform to make sure that you continue to have a platform. But I don't think this censorship without the capacity to really interact with anybody and plead your case is Orwellian. It's not good because what is it leading to? And then once they start shutting off your account, and this is going to be the new financial piece, and that's where you're going to do all your transacting, and they can just shut you off for posting too much or because bots started following you. So all I have to do is create a bot army and start following the people I don't like and destroy their accounts. That's all I have to do there. It's not good. Good morning, Trip and Monkey, my brother, who's helping us build out some really cool stuff at DeOrganized. Yeah, and good morning, Reese. An intrusive reminder of the dangers of centralization.
It's very true. I mean, this is why we're all drawn to crypto, right? You want the decentralized blockchain to build on, because if you want to build something, you actually want to have ownership and say in it. And I just with X being a private company, that's encouraging to a degree. But it would be nice to see that next step. I just don't know that we'll ever see that next step on that scale. But that's why we'll be, building our own platforms. That's what this is all ultimately about. I mean, you can't rely on stuff like that. And again, just like you were talking about, well, that will be a big financial application and all of these things. What happens if you get caught off of that? Yes, exactly. That's the bull case for Bitcoin, right? That's the bull case. This is just the nature of the world and the reality we live in. We don't want to be like, during like the pandemic, the people in Canada who were protesting, who had bank accounts frozen and this, that, and the other. Like, we want to move past all that. And we have the tools, we have the capability, and this is just another thing that reinforces why, Bitcoin, why crypto, why this is the place to be right now, because this won't be a thing 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like worrying about getting an account suspended or something. Hopefully by then all the rails will be built out to where that'll be an afterthought. If X is still around, and still, similar to its current iteration, it might have to be decentralized by just to stay competitive. That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would
Yeah.
be nice. And I think we're at a point right now where we're still early in the tools aren't ready yet. They really just aren't. It's not there. Like, we do have some awesome people building some really cool things, and we're always iterating to the next level. But this cycle isn't really going to be the mass adoption cycle. This is the institutional adoption cycle.
Well, so I read two interesting things this week. One is that 7% of the world's population has bought or owns crypto. 7%. And also read more recently, I think it was yesterday, that Bitcoin has about the same amount of use or the same notoriety as the internet did in 1999. Just to give you an idea of where we're at. Now, I remember the internet from 99.
Me too.
It's completely different story, right? I mean, it was nothing. It basically chat rooms and
That's exactly it. Was chat. It was Yahoo chat rooms and instant messenger started coming around right around then. I think was when AOL Instant Messenger became a little bit more popular, and you couldn't even play games online. There was no such thing as like online game. Well, there was a little bit of online gaming, but it was very limited, and the tech wasn't there. And then it exploded a couple years later.
Yeah, no, you're right. By 2004, the internet was kind of in its peak in terms of not being censored and just being this repository of information and so forth. But even today, it looks so much different. 2004, I mean, you really weren't streaming, not in any meaningful way. Nothing that looks like it does today. And I think we're going to see a much faster scale in terms of adoption than we saw with the internet. But the moral of the story is we're still very early.
Well, there's a lot of things that are making things are iterating much more rapidly now. Specifically, we have AI, we have blockchain technology, and these things are making things go faster too. Trip says his mom texted him to ask if he had any of them Bitcoins, which is absolutely bullish, man. Mama Trippin' Monkey is hip to the Bitcoins. That's excellent news. And nobody makes a good point that we shouldn't rely solely on any one social media account, right? It's good to have your own website and drive people to connect with their email and or other ways that you can be able to communicate with them. There are definitely things you can do to maybe protect yourself if such circumstances arise, but there's no guarantee. Not everyone that you have an email for is actually going to see the email you send them, letting them know that your account's been changed. And so,
yeah, I've got, I do have a site that you can use where I do have people's emails, right? And it really is about visibility. It's like how many people are going to see those emails that I have a new handle and stuff like that versus just building another handle, right? So it is a good point. Maybe I'll send out an email to the different ones that I do have collected. See if that helps. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, I mean, we are, not trying to plug DeOrganized specifically, but we are trying to build out a platform that will help people in such circumstances as well. If you have a place where you can manage your users and your content and access to varying interconnected, decentralized platforms that your media is out on, then you can't be rugged.
Do a GPSC collection airdrop for free, and just put your new handle in the metadata. Get it out
That's a
there.
good idea. That's a damn good idea. Shit, that's a banger idea, Jack. I mean,
with a handle.
I'm surprised Manny picked you for thought leader, bro.
This is an interesting point nobody has too. Viewing percentage on email communications is higher than social media. So, that is interesting. That is interesting. But back to Jack's suggestion. Yeah, why don't we do that? Actually, we can.
Like NFTs are not
like
used to advertise nearly as much as they should be. Like this is, especially since you can make NFTs that, because some people might not want to spam an inbox, you might spam a wallet, right? You can make it the NFTs to where they go away after X amount of blocks. So, that might be worth doing.
The only thing
too, I put Giga Pepe bars like Steve did.
Free GPSC. It's you got the perfect. Yeah. You've got the perfect theme already.
GPSC.
Yeah, follow me at my new handle.
I think it's worth exploring for sure. So
you'd probably pick up more followers.
I think that's a banging idea.
What if you made it so that?
Yeah, and then
kind of like a Pizza Pets thing, but not as engaged and involved. But if you made it so that it disappears after a certain amount of time unless you do something with it, which gives it value. So that creates hype for people to go in and look at it. And then one of the things you have to do is show proof of follow or something. That maybe is too complicated.
That would be... I wonder what you would have to do to make something like that happen. Provide like a proof of follow. You'd have to connect your account to the wallet and do all that stuff. So, at surface level, at least an airdrop that says free GPSC and other ideas to be explored. I think it's worth exploring for sure. Making it what can we make out of this to make it a memorable moment and people have a cool collector's item, and then like you said, Jack, I might even end up with more followers than I started with. So it's one of those things. Yeah.
We can make a campaign out of it. It's so you could do something like have the free airdrop. It goes away out of X amount of time, right? Regardless, unless you put it into a different address or something, right? If you switch it to a different wallet or a different address, you keep it, and then the people who have it, they get, whether it's something through the Gigaverse, whether it's a whitelist to your first, ordinal collection, whatever it is, you have leeway right there to make something cool happen.
You can connect your Twitter handle to your DeOrganized media account right now, and it's just by dropping in the handle ID. I wonder if there's a way, talking to Trip, I wonder if there's a way to utilize that, or even maybe Zero Authority has a solution there too, because I know that you can connect your Zero Authority account to your X handle as well. If there's a way to incorporate that into this, as a way to track whatever activity you're asking them to do. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that this could be a moment ecosystem, hey, the good or something, just kind of find a way to put a brand it a little bit for the Gigaverse, and then like make something fun with it, something interactive, something to do with the NFT. It's worth exploring. You never know, and it's it's being optimistic in a time where it's
Well, it's doing
kind of
right.
yesterday.
Doing something about it.
I felt these emotions. Yeah, doing something about it. So, um, I guess I gotta cook today. I've been cooking. I've got several different things that I've been working on. I've got like the Meme Roo collab. I'm also working on something for the XRP guys. Um, this is just another. This is. I mean, this is something I could just add to the rotation and work on, and like kind of hammer out the details and talk to people and see what we can build.
Oh, is there an
I
NFT,
think this could be a really cool move.
the Meme Roo collab?
That's such a cool collab.
Yeah, there's gonna be an NFT collection. Yeah, dude.
So that should definitely
me and Teflon
in
Musk
there somewhere.
Yeah, the meme root.
What was that?
That should have your handle and a direction to follow you in some capacity.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dude.
With all the promo
I think
stuff.
there's some type of
If you already have an NFT
some
or
type of fashion like
build that right into the promo of it, and now it's an opportunity to promote that event as well. Like it's an extra promo piece on that event, so it's an opportunity. When's
I
that?
like the ideas that are going on right now, dude. This is helpful. This is definitely helpful. It makes me feel a little bit more optimistic about like the whole situation in general. There are things that I can be doing to fix this. And like, if I like say I don't get the GPSC ever back, there's always other things that I can do to keep building this one that make it interesting, make it interactive to follow me. It's sparking ideas and creativity out of the whole thing, So, I think that getting in touch with Trip and Zero and seeing if there's some type of way we can make a proof of follow, spin up a small website or something and see what there is that we could do about this, right?
Yeah. Good morning,
never
Wolf. Mr. Wolf says, "What's up?" He's got some good ideas on NFT promo too.
100%. It's OG right there.
Yeah, Wolf is my dog.
Pun
Yeah,
intended.
he's helping me out since like I got into the ecosystem, man. He needs to kind of give me some ideas about how the space runs, how things like metadata and all of that stuff works. So
one of the first
big
NFTs
shout
I
out to
minted
Sport.
ever minted. One of the first NFTs I minted on any platform, on any chain, was a spaghetti punk.
Yeah. No, 100%, man.
That's a sick
Spaghetti
one to
Punk.
have, dude. I mean, I got a couple.
Yeah, Spaghetti Punks has been at it for a long time. Like just steadily growing, steadily building. And the like, here's what's going to happen with NFTs real soon. As soon as we get some crypto legislation in this country, which they've already said is a priority, you are going to see so much VC money going into NFTs to try to replicate what happened like in 2021 or whatever, whenever the NFT boom was. It's going to be insane. Watch. You're going to see that. That's what's so brilliant about Skullcoin, because gaming is going to be a big part of it. There's going to be it's going to be wild. It's going to get wild quick. That's coming for sure. The AI meta in itself for tokens is nuts. Now, like, we tokenize everything in crypto. Like we got our kangaroo bot AI up and running, but it's got nothing to do with the token. It's got nothing to do with Roo, except it's for the community, right? It's just our community AI as we experiment with AI and and starting to learn this so we can better implement it and other things we do. But you're seeing these AI tokens everywhere. They were big on Solana. Solana's kind of losing some market share right now to Hyperliquid and to Base. And on Base, you're starting to see a lot of AI tokens start to proliferate. And that's what's really wild, is the realization that whatever your edge is in this space right now, you can kiss it goodbye. It's leaving. And B, all of the time for years and years and years, we've been sitting here like we've got to educate people about crypto. We've got to do all these things. Dude, AI is going to abstract away everything we do where crypto is concerned. Buying or selling or trading is going to be a matter of feeding an AI a prompt. Like that's coming quick, and it's going to iterate and improve a lot faster than we've ever seen DeFi or NFTs or any of those things in the past iterate. And it's going to, all of those things are also going to reiterate with an AI flair super fast. I mean, we're on the precipice of that right now. Probably from the first time we talked about AI on DeOrganized, to now, so much progress has been made to where
Huge.
Yeah. Now, like, you can get an Eliza bot and make an AI social personality, right? Not, you still need devs for it for like the good stuff, but they've got it to where people can just kind of make their own pretty easy, and that's only gonna get easier.
Yeah, we were having conversations with Michael from Mike Jagdale from the Syndicate the other day. He does his AI show, and he had come on and was talking with it. It was just him, Stu, and GP, right? It was just the three of you guys, I think, the other day. We were talking afterwards about, because he's made a bot for a few other people now, and there's a couple of things that he's doing, and then the AI bot Stu has that's replying or commenting for his account, on his X handle, and man, there's just like some crazy stuff going on with what you can iterate, and it starts to become, when does it become where it's just a bunch of AI agents having conversations in spaces and there's not actually any real people in there?
Right.
How quickly do we get to that? And what is that like? Do those conversations matter? Maybe they do, because they're having conversations and they're learning from each other. Right now they're not. That's not really there yet, that they're having enough conversation to learn from each other.
Actually, now, and this would be interesting for Michael because he's a lot more technical than I am, but now you can have one AI agent and another AI agent. I can't remember which platform this is, but they can basically merge properties and create a new AI agent that has properties of them both. We're there as of yesterday. That's, yeah.
So eventually we're going to have, I mean, the forums don't have to be isolated where there are no humans, but you can create AI entities far more rapidly than you can create and mature humans. So where is this going? Where is it going?
For social media,
robot DAOs, dude.
For social media, I think it's going to be much like bots are treated now, right? Where they're not going to get, the algorithm will identify them, they'll get deboosted or what have you, and they'll just be talking to each other or whatever. The interesting thing, the thing I'm most interested in with AI is what I can get an AI to do to make me more productive, right? That's really the cool thing. And so where I look at that, not just content creation wise, but just trading in general, right? Just managing portfolio, you know, learning how I trade and what I like to do, and executing things on my behalf. You know, that's the stuff that excites me the most about it. You know, because obviously, like, I'm most excited about crypto, right? But that's, you know, and then the art part is awesome. I mean, I've been looking forward to the time when you can, you know, buy an NFT that's really your license to own a movie that somebody made that can compete with anything Hollywood puts out, you know, for almost none of the cost. I think that's when you empower artists to that degree with the technology, and then you add the ownership that an NFT provides, that's a whole new world at that moment. You know, I think that's really cool. Those are the things that I get most excited about. The chatbot stuff is cool. I think that, you know, like, okay, so for Rue, for example, if I can have a chat bot that can just tell me what's trending at any moment socially, and the keywords people are looking for, this, that, and the other, if I'm trying to figure out, you know, what to tweet or whatever, that's awesome in and of itself. But the chat bots themselves, that's just like that first iteration, right? Like, how is this going to apply to crypto? And but I think the ramifications are going to go way, way, way deeper than that, and it's going to happen pretty quick.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, dude.
it's
You know,
iterating very.
like seeing how the art culture is going to be shaped with AI. You know, a lot of people were skeptical whenever people started first, like experimenting with it. You know, it was kind of like not so good, and you could tell it was generated by AI. But now you can see it's starting to like get better and better and better, man. Now we have like the screen fiends where you know you have like a human touch, but it was generated by AI. And I think that that's what the art side of AI is going to look like. Is like you're going to have, you know, I don't think you're going to have something that's completely generated by AI. Maybe down the line. I can't exactly say that, but I think that there's going to be some type of human touch behind it to where like you know you're editing little small details, and then for the final product, you know, that's what you get is, you know, at first it's all generated by an AI, and then it's ran through a human at the end of it.
And I think human art will still have a premium, right? I think that, you know, actual artists, it's just like writers. Like, you can look at something that's generated by AI and know that that wasn't written by a human. And when I see that, I typically don't pay it any mind, right? So I think that the same will be true for visual art as well. You know, what's really cool to me is like the idea of people being able to make motion pictures and so forth with special effects that, you know, you would, that in the 80s would have cost millions of dollars, you know, in the 90s would have cost millions of dollars, and now you can just do that, and you can make, you know, some pretty epic art that way. That's pretty
So I
cool.
guess here's a thought. What is the value of creating art for the artist? Are you trying to get paid, or are you trying to create something? And so I think we are going to have a paradigm shift as far as monetization of things and how that's going to go in the future. Um, Art created by AI is really, right now it's very novel because it's a new thing. It's a tool, you know. It still requires a prompt, but as it becomes, so it's much easier to learn how to play guitar and how to play guitar proficiently these days, just because of the access to a tremendous amount of videos showing you that actually are just part of the entertainment sphere now. Like if you're scrolling through video feeds, you are interested in learning how to play guitar, the algorithm will start putting in front of you the songs that you're interested in and how to play them and how to play this riff, and they go walk you through it. And so you're just getting exposed to that information passively. You don't even have to seek it out necessarily. So there's more people that can actually play guitar now than there were 10 years ago.
And they can play better quicker, you know, because when I was a kid, I was sitting there with a tape player, rewinding, listening, trying to find the notes on the fretboard.
And there was no way for you to even reference if what you were doing was correct or not.
Right. Now
a
buddy of mine, his son's 17. He just picked up a guitar and started playing, and he's watching TikTok and YouTube all day and just getting guitar lessons.
Which is
nonstop.
Awesome. That's
right.
awesome. But to nobody's point, it diminishes. It's the same thing with the AI art. It's the same thing with actually humans being able to create art. There's nothing wrong with more capacity for us to express art. And the AI is really just an extension of ourselves anyway. But as there becomes a saturated market, as there becomes less scarcity in the consumable part of it, there's got to be the value comes from somewhere else. It's more in the communication than the communication of ideas, in my opinion, that makes great art stand out amongst a sea of good art. But that's not necessarily going to monetize. It's just about creating great art and communicating what you're trying to communicate. It's not always about monetization, because it's not always going to be attainable in that medium, you know, because the consumer doesn't care as long as it's just satisfying the entertainment piece. They're not worried about the message as much. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just a matter of you making art for a smaller community, the people you know. You're not really reaching out to broader communities the same way, because there's just too much competition for the eyeballs, I think.
Maybe. And I mean, it depends on what's this all going to look like in 10, 15 years anyway. But I still think at the end of the day, you know, especially when it comes to digital art and NFTs, ordinals, things like that, especially ordinals, honestly, I think that owning art that was created by an artist, you know, is just going to be more special and more sought after because of the oversaturation. You know, you can flip through your timeline on Twitter now and you can see all this AI generated stuff everywhere. But when you just see a really cool piece of art that someone made, you know, you're like, it speaks to you or it doesn't, you know?
So nobody says crypto is about monetization. So I don't know that that's entirely true. I think crypto is about self-ownership, self and control, and the capacity to engage in a peer-to-peer manner without a third-party intermediary, and to communicate in the same way, peer-to-peer, and not be censored. That crypto is about access and making things open, or at least that's the appeal to me, is that you have an open, accessible network for anyone, that's available to everybody, that everybody can use, and it's really hard for a group of people to not allow certain people to use it. That's what crypto is about to me. It's not about monetization. Monetization is actually how you get adoption of crypto, not the other way around.
Yeah. Oh, 100% on that. Because what's your incentive? What's almost everybody's incentive to enter the space in the first place? It's, oh wow, people are making money, getting fabulously wealthy, and I'm not. So what's this about? Right? That's why Tripp and his mom can be like, hey, you got any of those bitcoins? Like, that's because she saw it on the news this morning or yesterday morning or what have you, because they're talking about it finally. And it's like, wow, this stuff's worth, $96,000. What's this all about? So that it starts there, and then you end up where you're at if you learn about it. And that's the part that comes with time and experience. And I think part of that is going to get lost, especially in the context of the conversation we've been having, which is, as more of what we do as crypto natives becomes abstracted away, more of the lessons learned while you're immersed in this are also going to get stripped away. So and you're kind of seeing that now to a degree, right? Like, Bitcoin on the white papers, peer-to-peer electronic cash. How many people today refer to it that way? Now it's digital gold. It's the best asset in the world. It's this, that, and the other. So you're already starting to see that shift, right? So I think as we go further along, even that part of it is going to wind up becoming diminished, unfortunately, because the education that you get in crypto is priceless as far as I'm concerned. When you take this journey, there's so much you learn about, well, the nature of reality to start, right? I mean, just when you're watching charts and this, that, and the other, and you're like, oh, cycles. This is cycles. Wait, everything in life is a cycle. Like you can, to that, to economics, to politics, to governance, to all of these different lessons. And that will be one of the tragedies about mass adoption, I think, is that the purity of it and the value that lies in what you just said will be lost on most.
Right. Well, and so monetization or spending money is actually a form of communication, right? That's really why it falls under the right to free speech. You should be able to spend your money on anything you want as long as it's not actively harming somebody, and we should have the least amount of restrictions possible to preserve a functional and secure society, which is subjective, admittedly, but it's about the capacity to exchange. So be that communicating, be that spending and borrowing or lending or whatever. The paradigm is to make sure everyone can continue to do that without the state interfering, or the corporate state interfering, or all sorts of mechanisms that could rise up to centralize things. That's why it's decentralized. That's why it's robust that way, because it protects all of the players. Mass adoption doesn't have to do away with that, but that's not necessarily what the market's looking for right now. Most people don't feel like they have their capacity to exchange is threatened. Most people don't feel like their capacity to spend or buy or own or exchange or communicate is threatened, until their accounts shut down and they have no fucking recourse, and all they can do is talk to a fucking machine.
All right. And that's it's true. And speaking to your point, like, okay, so what's the coolest thing about Stacks is it is so decentralized, right? But then if you look at the consumers, where's their heads at? You almost have to be in the game for a while to understand the value of decentralization,
Right.
right?
The average consumer doesn't care.
No,
Doesn't care about the decentralization on Stacks. They want app on my phone, does what I want it to do, and I don't have to think about it. That's what the average consumer wants. And until we get there, they're not all coming. And that's what absolutely the whole ecosystem should be working on, is making everything as easy as possible for to meet the demands of the majority of people and what they're looking for in the space, which is monetization of the stuff that they make. But
yeah,
but you can only produce the capacity to do that. You can't produce the results of doing that. Just because you create something within an ecosystem where there is the capacity to monetize doesn't mean that the thing you create will monetize. So it is complicated. There's a lot of things. People will say we're very early, and we are, but there's a lot of things going on outside of Stacks that, while Stacks, the future on Stacks looks very bright to me right now, you got to always be pushing to that next thing and the next iteration and to meet the demands of the market that you're looking for right now. So yeah, we have fast blocks, but we need to get them consistently fast. And yeah, we have SBTC, but we need to get more functional use cases out there for it so that people can use it more than just putting it on Zest and earning 12%. That's
right.
not actually that's great. It's an accomplishment, but we got to keep going. We need more. We need to grow the community of users. Right. And the only way you can do that is if there's more stuff for them to use and it works good and it's fast and there's liquidity there. So when you launch a token, it doesn't, just go nowhere. Even if it has a use case.
No, that's what Stacks has to be very cognizant of at this particular juncture, because I am insanely bullish on Stacks. I've been insanely bullish on Stacks for a long time. And I've invested a lot of not just funds, but I've invested a lot of time and energy and devotion to this ecosystem and to this community. And so if you look at what you are talking about in terms of getting users, okay, so I always like to say a blockchain needs funding, it needs a community, and it needs developers, right? And these three things work in conjunction. So if you want developers, there has to be incentive. Now, that incentive traditionally can be through a foundation, through grants, through accelerators, that kind of thing. Or it could be the actual incentive of, like, hey, there's a lot of people here and this is a very liquid blockchain. So this is where I'm going to build because I'm going to be able to make something profitable here, right? And so you need community, right? Well, if you don't have the things you need to attract and keep developers, then how do you retain community? Especially and the biggest thing Stacks has always had going for it is it was a Bitcoin L2 before most people ever conceived of the necessity or even knew that having a Bitcoin L2 was possible.
Right. It was impossible. It was impossible until I heard of Stacks, actually.
Right. Wow, I can make Bitcoin do other things. And then it does so in a very, very awesome way. Most L2s are EVMs. But here's where the rubber meets the road. So if you go to Coinbase and their base chain, and you have a ton of development going on, you have a ton of liquidity. You're bringing more developers, you're bringing more people, you're bringing more eyes. So if Coinbase's Bitcoin, wrap Bitcoin, is less decentralized than SBTC, what percentage of those users do you think care? Very, very, very small percent, because that gets back to what we're talking about earlier. And that the longer, you've got to be in this game for a certain amount of time to appreciate the elegance of proof of transfer to begin with, or the necessity of decentralization to begin with, right? So what's the other thing Stacks had going for it? It's a Bitcoin beta play. Just straight up. People underexposed to Bitcoin. Look, a lot of your traders, a lot of your most successful traders in crypto, they're fiat maxis. They trade to make more money. So you've got people who are multimillionaires who miss the whole run of Bitcoin from 3,000 when it, go back to when it, 2019 when it crashed, to now. They've got no Bitcoin, right? They missed the whole run. So you want to attract those kind of people and be like, wow, I can get in, on a Bitcoin beta play, at a relatively low market cap, because, 2 billion or whatever Stacks is right now is a relatively low market cap, when you can go to Solana and see meme coins that have higher market caps. You can go to Base and see, like Virtual has a higher market cap, like, or about the same. So you want to attract those people. But guess what? When ordinals really got popular, the whole Bitcoin L2 genie escaped from the bottle. And everyone with any money to invest threw it all at Bitcoin L2s, right? So now you're in a point where all of these Bitcoin L2s are getting ready to come to market. And so I think that, and one thing that troubles me a little bit more than I'd like it to, is Stacks used to track very, very well with the Bitcoin price action, right? That's not been the case for some time now, which was kind of unusual. And that might have something to do with the halving, probably does. But it might also have something to do with smart money being like, wait, what's all these other L2s? Where's Stacks at relative to these other L2s? So what I'd like to see, and I hope to see, because anyone can build on Stacks. That's the beauty part of it. Anybody can build on it. And whatever financial rails are going to be built for the Bitcoin economy, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better solution than to do it on Stacks. But the people who have that kind of money to lay down, they're going to be looking at metrics at a completely different level than we do. Just you're in the real estate business. Insurers look at metrics on things they insure far differently than a consumer does.
Right. Or another good analogy might be an appraisal, like an appraiser who's coming out to provide a valuation, a third subject, an independent third party valuation on a property, usually on behalf of a lender, to give them an idea of whether it's actually valuable or not to make the loan. And one of those factors, especially if it's an investment property, is how much money it's bringing in, and or the income potential. Where if your fair market rent is $2,000 a month and you're only getting $1,000 a month, you're not appraising at the same value as if you're getting the fair market rent. You're too far below. Right. So that's actually an excellent analogy. We need more liquidity in Stacks to be more attractive. Right. And there's certain ways to get more liquidity, which is having broader based DeFi functionality, perp dex trading, is what we really do need to bring in the next wave of liquidity. Short of that, Jack, what else could possibly bring in the liquidity we need?
You know, so I've been very vocal about how bullish I am on Velar for a long time now. I interviewed Mythal on my original podcast. I wrote an article well before they launched. And part of that bullishness is that perp dex on Bitcoin, right? Like when you can talk to someone and like, yeah, we're going to build a perp dex on Bitcoin. You know, when you're okay, so if you're a VC and you're a startup founder and you're trying to build a product, when you pitch that product to someone, you want them to be like, this is what I want. This is what I've been looking for so much time. And as someone who likes to trade, that hit all of my bells and whistles immediately. Like, oh yeah, perp dex? Oh, this is fantastic. So if you take Hyperliquid, which is just a perp dex, essentially, and they did have a very cool way of launching that they did an airdrop with a token, and it made a lot of people a lot of money. But their fully diluted value is like $30 billion right now. Can you imagine a fraction of that hitting stacks if the perp dex was live? Because you'd get a fraction of it at least, possibly more. And then when you look at what you have on stacks already, you have, actually
a 1% rule. A 1% rule would be $300 million.
Yeah,
which would be a huge
massive
inflow of stacks.
Massive. So you have all of these meme coins. You have Bitflow that has made it possible with Pontus to bring runes over to stacks. Can you imagine if we had a perp dex right now, all the attention from the L1 users just in that alone? Forget about the other narratives. So like part of it is like, look, we've been waiting for SBTC, we've been waiting for Nakamoto, we got him, but why are we like still kind of feeling like we're treading water? Because we need the developers. We already discussed, well, if you want developers, you either got to give them some grants or you got to have the volume to make it worth their time to come build. So that needs to take place in one way or the other. And those things have to happen in order to not just maintain the community that you have, but grow the community that you have. Because your early adopters, we like to call them degens because it's the crypto slang, but really in any other business, you would call the people who are doing this stuff early adopters. So you take it out of this negative connotation. Your early adopters who are actually, sorry to rain on anybody's parade, I hate to shit on the nerd parade, but the people who are here, as has been pointed out repeatedly, are trying to like learn this stuff and trying to actually like earn from it. That is the first clarion call of anyone who gets into this stuff. So what are they going to do? Are they going to wait forever? Or when they see other L2s or other chains coming along, or these new AI dude, there's a blockchain that's going to be running AI powered smart contracts across, like, there's a project going to be doing it across like 5 different blockchains, including Bitcoin. How do you retain your community in the face of that when something's going from 0 to 10 billion to 30 billion to 40 billion, within a matter of months, which is, by the way, coming? Like, a lot of people still need to see their first bull run. Guess what? You're still in a bull market, and the bull run's still coming. So
God. Yeah,
I think a sense of urgency and like better communication would go a long way, because you want to develop those. You want those developers. You want people here building. And again, decentralized. You have your guardrails and your building blocks for the Bitcoin economy, and that's great. Everyone's going to participate. But again, stacking dial, love stacking dial. Zest, love Zest, awesome. How many people have come to Stacks just to use those versus how many people were already in the community? And why did those people originally come to the community? Well, when I came to the community, you were on the back end of the NFT craze. So people were still kind of buying NFTs here and there, right? And then what did you have, a year or so ago? You started with the meme coins. Okay, so like how many of those users also use these other products that we're gonna say use case. We're gonna say these products have use case and they have utility. What's the percentage look like of people who are like, this stacks is pretty cool. I'm gonna go stack my stacks. I'm gonna get a yield. I'm gonna borrow at Zest. I'm gonna do that. How many people are coming just for that? Especially when that already exists on other blockchains that they're already invested in. So I think that on the community side, you've got some people that are kind of shaky right now, and the way I see it is we've got a killer community, we've got a great culture, and we've got fantastic tech.
But the devs at the top, the core devs, do amazing stuff. There's not enough of them. Number one, there's not enough of them. We need to get more devs into the ecosystem, which means we need to incentivize devs to come here. And the other thing you were getting at that we've talked about many times, and we were actually chatting yesterday about it in the space and in the DM groups and stuff, is the communication between the core entities, being the foundation, trust machines, and some of the other top things, hero systems and all that stuff down. There needs to be more attention from them to communicating down to the community. Right now, we don't know sitting here right now whether they're working on a solution to make fast blocks consistent so that Velar can launch their perp decks. We don't know.
And then if you look back, so if you say, okay, well, Stacks decorrelated with Bitcoin sometime around the halving, not coincidentally, I don't think that was the first time. That was, well, technically the second time Nakamoto was delayed, right? We would have had the perp decks during the summer. Now, would that have mattered? I don't know. The summer, the macro is always the boss. You can have the greatest stuff in the world. If no one's paying attention, no one's paying attention.
Right.
But, we should have beat Hyperliquid.
We should have had it by the election.
Right.
That's what Velar was expecting with the delay and the delay and the delay, that once it came out, that's what we were going to have. And now we're a month and a half, 2 months past Nakamoto, right? Was it early November, or was it actually, I think it was early November, right around the election it went live, right?
Yep.
And it's definitely gotten more consistent, right? It's more consistently fast blocks. There's less delays. But are we getting to a point where it's going to get solved? Velar doesn't know. That's my concern. Velar doesn't seem to know if this is coming or when to expect it. And that's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem.
So if you have something like that launch and you get a $300 million injection of liquidity and all the users it brings, that brings your devs. That brings, more attention, more community, more liquidity. We need these kind of catalysts, and we need them fast, because POX, as much as I love proof of transfer and the decentralization, you could probably reasonably say 85% of people are not going to give a shit
don't
about
care.
this.
As long as it works, they don't care whether it's actually decentralized or
Right.
not. Most
And
people
then
don't.
when you and then you're competing now with Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin, which is one of the most recognizable names in the industry, probably just after Bitcoin and maybe Doge. It's probably more recognizable than Ethereum. And you have all of the developer activity, all the eyes, all the attention, but you have a superior product that people have poured their souls into. Oh well, you're going to lose all your market share to an inferior product.
Well,
And
what's inferior about it? If it's easier to use for the market, it's not inferior.
right, well, strictly in decentralization terms, right,
Right. That's not all it's about.
right. No,
That's the
again,
truth of it. Unfortunately, that's not all it's about. Not everything has to be decentralized. Certain things do enough for the market to feel comfortable with it, and we need to find that happy medium.
and who's your kings of decentralization? The almighty, all wise, all knowing Bitcoin Amish, aka maxis. You see the kind of discourse maxis have, they might as well be statist, half of them, you
Right.
know, like, so the decentralization thing means something to decentralization nerds, but it doesn't mean anything to the market. And it is important, but
Maxis aren't all idealists, though, either.
no,
They're different things.
there's a lot of number go up, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, at this stage, it's number go up. Period.
Right.
When the 49ers were going and mining, trying to strike gold, they were doing that for money. They weren't doing that with the idea that it was going to make California one of the largest
Right.
economies in the
Right.
world.
Right. They were going to get their gold,
Right,
not to build an infrastructure around a gold
right.
mine.
So the shitting on people who are your early adopters, and I'm not pointing this at Stacks. I'm just pointing that this is a thing with some developers in general. They look at the people who are using or want to or participate in crypto for anything other than the special that they're building, is why are these people doing this? I don't understand it. There's a disconnect. It's literally that simple. And it's not even a modern phenomena. You're literally talking about fundamental human nature. So, shake your fist at the sky, but you can't ignore fundamental reality. And so, the quicker that people get away from that into, well, this is awesome, well, it might be, but you have to be able to help make it awesome. And you have to be able to show other people that it's awesome. And
They have to be able to use it.
right.
They have to be able to use it. That's the thing that needs to be gotten to. It has to be functional for a lot of people to use it in ways that are easy to them and not a huge learning curve. Specific to Stacks, I think a lot of this could be resolved if there was better communication. People are talking about marketing, and I'm not saying that there isn't room for improvement there. I don't think it's marketing so much as communications, which are related, but not exactly the same thing. We're not hearing. So one of the things we're trying to do with the regular Friday SIP call, which we're not doing today because we have Staxy's special event today at 11 a.m. Normally we have the SIP call, and we're trying to make that the community innovation call and getting more stuff from the community so we can feed it up the chain. But we don't really have that conduit to feed it up and back and forth between on the chain. So we can't take these ideas and talk to the upper level about them and see what their plans are and come to some kind of understanding as to let the community know what to expect from up here. A case in point is SBTC was the narrative for months. And it's a really cool invention. It's a really interesting thing. It does add an extra layer of functionality to Bitcoin into the Stacks ecosystem. I didn't know that there was a 5% bonus on putting Bitcoin into SBTC until the day it launched.
And you probably also didn't know minimum amount to that
I
until the
didn't
day.
know the minimum amount. I didn't
Right.
know, and I had an issue. So I hadn't updated my Xverse wallet on my app in my phone, and that's where I actually put the funds to use that one of those accounts. And so it didn't actually work for a little while. I'm running the SIP calls. I've done a bunch of SIP specials. I'm the media here. Like, we're the media here. How do I not know this? Why
Right.
aren't they telling me this so I can communicate it out to everybody? That's exactly what I'm working to do this, and I don't know. Like, where do I find out? How do I find that out? Where do I go? Stacks doesn't have a place for me to go, a person to talk to coordinate this stuff and communicate it out. There's no press release. There's no process for that, it doesn't seem. So that's what they need is a PR department, not marketing, public relations department. That's working on messaging and taking the feedback from the community. What are the community's concerns and addressing them? Nobody's coming out and saying we're going to have this solved by Q1. No one's telling us Q1. We're working on it and we expect it to be done by then. We don't know. We don't know if this is even is it in their model to be able to have consistently fast blocks and not ever have a time period where it takes minutes to resolve a transaction? Because if they're not going to be able to do that, then we need to figure out other solutions. There needs to be other ways to get over that.
And for if we can look to the past to see what might happen in the future. So it's a couple of years ago now when, okay, so I'm gonna set the stage for you. Stacks is like probably around 100 in the coin market cap. It's middle of the bear market, nothing really going on. And all of a sudden, some guys from Ethereum see the BNSs and are like, oh, like this is gonna print. So you had some Ethereum whales come into the ecosystem and they're buying making every BNS they can. And what happens to Stacks? Dude, just comes to a halt. Right? It's just so slow. It's moving at a snail's pace. It's never had that kind of volume.
Couldn't handle the transaction speed.
Right.
Couldn't handle the transaction load.
And then the after effect of that, now prior to that, the voices you had in the community, and I count myself among them, was always like, look, guys, like Stacks isn't ready for prime time yet. We need to be faster. We need to be faster. We need to be able to process more. Like, if you're really gonna do what this has the potential to do. Well, after that, that's when you start hearing about, hey, Nakamoto upgrade. Like, we're on this. We're gonna make this happen. That's the genesis of all that. Like, now they could have been formulating all the ideas for Nakamoto upgrade well before then, but that event is what really like brought everything to focus and brought it to the forefront. So my concern is, now that we're one of like 90 Bitcoin L2s, and you have L2s with tremendous amounts of funding who are coming out with a lot of horsepower. They're going to be running on EVM, so they're going to be quick. They're going to be well funded. They're going to have their key opinion leaders, or whatever the shit you want to call these assholes. They're going to have all of this stuff ready to go. And we're going to be sitting here being like, so are the blocks fast yet? Like, consistently? And guess what? Like, all that mind share that you could have got, you might not get it back. because this is the institutional cycle, and you will have but there's no one saying that like this is literally like you're holding the crown. You're holding the Bitcoin L2 crown right now,
Well,
and
and
it's
that's
yours to lose.
right. People aren't. Why would they come back if it's working somewhere else and they can do all that they want to do there? Why are they
Right.
coming back? You don't. And the institutions are going to the liquidity. They're not going to the tech. They don't care about the tech. They care about who's using it and how can I make money on it.
Right.
Is
And
this where we're going to make money?
who's managing all the ETF Bitcoin? Coinbase.
Coinbase.
So you think that any consumer that's even remotely concerned about the idea of not having custody of their Bitcoin, which is another one of these ideas that's slowly like getting out of the crypto zeitgeist, you think they're going to care? No. No. They're going to go straight for that. So like so I really, you would like to see better communication at the very least. And honestly, something resembling a sense of urgency just to like polish and refine what we already have. And the marketing will happen. Like, marketing's pretty organic, man. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to exchanges, I look at charts, I check out Twitter. That's how I try to find the alpha, and like
If you're
most,
seeing marketing, you're late.
right. So most of the time I'm just like, that's how I try to find stuff to buy. So I don't know that having, like a big marketing campaign's the answers to anybody's problems, more so than you just need people excited about what we've got going on here. And as we're sitting here right now in this moment, the most exciting thing in Stacks are the people in Stacks. By far.
Sure. That's absolutely true.
By far.
The atmosphere of the people building here and the camaraderie and the network and the way people fit in together and stuff is absolutely the value. The community is the value on Stacks right now. Don't get me wrong. The tech is also the reason the community reflects the ethos that Stacks was built around, but that's not going to sell the chain because
Right.
that ethos isn't exclusive to the way Stacks is building. Like that functionality can be done elsewhere. It doesn't have to be on Stacks.
One of the reasons I think, and I have no way of proving this, one of the reasons I think the Stacks community is awesome is because in order to find Stacks in the first place, you already had to have some crypto knowledge under your belt, and you already had to have some ideas of what you like and what you don't like, right? And so you just managed to have a place where a lot of people landed. You probably have more people who have an Ethereum background on Stacks than you do who have a strictly Bitcoin background. I think that's a pretty safe bet. So crypto's maturing. The people who create the next community are going to be people with Solana backgrounds who are like, man, I don't want to be in this community full of people who would, rip the fillings out of my mom's teeth, to try to make a 2x. Like,
well, that's a great point. Like, I'm not going and hanging around in Solana based X spaces,
right?
Because I've been lied to enough in my life.
I don't have enough IQ to spare to listen to those morons.
Right. It's right. It's greasy, right?
Yeah.
But they have the eyeballs because there's volume.
Yeah. And Solana, you can look at the charts. And you can see, oh wow, they're losing market share right now to hype, and they're losing it to base. That's just part of it, man. Like, how many people in Solana are just like, man, I love this community. Dude, Stacks has that. But
Right.
it's not going to be the only blockchain that has it. And so the community, carries a heavy load and doesn't get enough credit for it. But
Right. You're right. That's exactly right. There needs to be more two-way communication between the core entities and the community. And it's building. We're building that stuff out, but it's not there yet. And just think about how much more smoothly the delay in Nakamoto could have gone if there was a direct conduit where the foundation is communicating with some community leaders and saying, this is what's going on, this is what we're looking at, help us figure out the messaging to bring out to your community, so that what are they looking for, what are their questions, what are they concerned about, and how do we address that. That would be a tremendous value add, I think, to the ecosystem, and we can do that. I just don't know where to start with it. I'm not sure where to start. There's a need.
You have to start with convincing people of the necessity of it in the first place. That's like, I don't know if that part's landed, and I also don't know. And again, I have no way of knowing this. This is just strictly purely the way my mind works, searching for answers. A lot of developers, they don't, whether they have a business background or not, they don't understand the crypto business itself. They don't understand their customer. So they're like, that's whatever, that's stupid, like, impatient and silly degens just trying to gamble and be dumb. This is going to be awesome. And they don't understand that there's probably all kind of cool stuff that fails all the time.
Right. It's got to. Who is it awesome for? Who are you building it for? You need to talk to the people you're building it for.
Right.
Constantly, because the market changes. Think about how quickly everything's changing right now with all the iterations from AI and all the tools people have and all of the different media stuff launching. And I mean,
well, look at Cardano. Cardano became a joke until one day overnight, it's like, oh, this is going to be a Bitcoin L2 now, which immediately reinvigorated the whole community, right? ICP. Oh yeah, we can be a Bitcoin L2. Like, sure. Like, so you have all of these different things that
saying and doing it is different, right?
Right.
We know that. Like, there aren't going to be 90 successful Bitcoin L2s.
No, but
I think Stacks absolutely
deserves to be one of them.
Stacks should be the one of it right now with all of that they've done. They're just, I really do think that the problem right now is the community's shaky. That's what we were talking about. Like, there's less faith, less trust by the community right now that it's going to go the way we've been being led to believe it's going, which I don't think I'm still pretty confident about it. I do think that there's some very smart people working on this, and that they do know, they're aware of some of these things, but I don't think they're taking the proper actions to allay the fears in the community and bolster the strength that they have in their community versus letting it. There's less people interested in Stacks right now than there were 3 weeks ago.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, I've experienced this firsthand, and y'all will know exactly what I'm talking about, because we're not builders in the sense that like a Stacks core dev is a builder. So I don't want to conflate that.
Right.
But like, when you're like just busy as shit in a project, you don't know what's going on outside of your immediate bubble.
Right.
And like, there's a chance that it's not like an intentional tone deafness. It's our nose is to the grindstone so hard. And I think this is actually what's more likely, because I mean, these people have done some amazingly, they've solved problems that people thought were basically unsolvable. You know,
Right.
when you talk about the Bitcoin peg in and peg out, like this is serious stuff. Like these devs work their tails off. So I think that if it's anything, it's as much as we're like, man, the community could use like, you know, a heads up. I think it's also like a, hey guys, whoa, did you know that like people are like kind of freaking out right now? I bet you most of them don't, if any of them do.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's exactly it. There's no, I kind of propose that we need like a handful of community leaders, like maybe, and I'm not trying to volunteer anybody, because the people that are going to participate need to be interested and willing and participatory. This can't be just a lip service thing where, yeah, I'll do that. You
Right.
have to actually do it. But Mark from Bitcoin Pepe, you, me, a handful of other people that are overseeing communities have a regular meeting with somebody or a couple of people from the top brass and just talk about, this is what we're hearing from the community, and get some response from them that we can kind of filter out. At least we know what's going on and we can speak to it. Right now we can't. So like when we're seeing Pete frustrated and George making his post about being frustrated with certain things and what's going on, there's no response right now. We need to be able to respond to these things. There's no way to do so right now.
Right.
So I'm not sure how that works. This has been an awesome conversation, gentlemen. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. I have about 20 minutes until I have to get into the studio to get ready for Staxy's anniversary stream, which is happening at 11 a.m. And so I got to wrap up. Why don't you guys give me a final word for the day?
Oh, just, you know, look, we're in the right place. We're in a great place. I just think that, you know, there's no obstacle here that's insurmountable. It's just a matter of, it probably just boils down to comms to a large degree. And don't let like price action at the moment, you know, freak you out. Price action at the moment is going to do what it's going to do. You know, I mean, Bitcoin is at 96,000. You know, it looked like it was making a beeline for 120 just, you know, a couple weeks ago. So it's the end of the year. I mean, you take this with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's all I really got, guys.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, for what it's worth, I'm still buying Stacks. I'm still bullish on Stacks. I think Stacks is at a discount right now. I'm super bullish on the core entities and the community and all of the builders like Jack and GPSC, myself, and the team at DeOrganized, and all. I mean, Zero Authorities in our DMs, and even, you know, Mr. Wolf and Nobody Famous. I mean, we're talking to all these people, are builders. You know, all the people coming on and saying hello are builders. Trip and Monkey and Reese, and you know, it's just I'm super bullish on the space. I think it's a buying opportunity, but I do think that we need to address some of these problems sooner than later. Some of these friction points need to get fixed up. GP, Mister, we're gonna get your
dude.
back,
Yeah.
but how are you today, man? What do you got left for us?
So I really like where the direction of the conversation went. I think that you know, we're doing good work here. I think that you know, talking about the problem is the first step. You know, maybe core devs can hear us out and make some change about it. But while we're doing it, let's just remember to keep love in the room, keep the frequency high, keep our head down building. That's all we can do, and keep chipping it away, guys.
Right on. Jack, GP, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I love our conversations. I love you guys so much. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you guys. Hopefully, GP, you're coming on the Staxy live stream, I think, right? Jack, I don't know if you're. I'll send you
Yeah,
the link. You can join if you want to.
I'll
You're
try.
definitely welcome if you're available. And
I might be sleeping by then.
yeah, I expect you. Might.
All nighter.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Just always want to make you feel welcome. Also, a couple just said she's always super supportive. Digital hug to you, GPSC from Nobody Famous. Now I'm jealous, and thank you. We're glad you enjoyed the conversation today. Nobody, GP, Jack. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Peace Love Music. We are DeOrganized Media, coming at you on BitcoinLive Decentralized Broadcasting. Tune in just over 45 minutes from now at 11 a.m. We will be doing the Staxy live anniversary celebration and leading into the launch party space at noon, where she will be launching her STX-Y Staxy NFT limited. Only 42 of those available, so get your stacks ready. I think they're going to go soon, and we'll see you guys back at 11 a.m. I am Peace Love Music. Y'all have a blessed day.